Hey everybody, welcome to episode 173 of the Bonehead podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. And jingle. Welcome back, I'm Ben, and today I am not joined by Blood Type Ben, he's still abroad. I'm not joined by Milton because Milton is missing, as ever. And we're not joined by Trips because Trips is busy, but that's okay because we planned this episode in with one of the GutterBowl guys. It is KaijinChicken. Nick, how you doing today, all right?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Yeah, good. Yeah, excited for the new version and excited for a new season of GutterBowl.
Yes, super hyped about that. So the reason we dragged Nick on here is for two things, really. One, we want to talk through the fact that there's going to be another GutterBowl season on the channel and that there's going to be another Bonehead Championship on the channel, both of them starting in January. So we're going to reveal the teams. And secondly, because Blood Bowl 2025 comes out yesterday? As this podcast goes out. I think this podcast is going out Sunday this weekend. So yesterday, the new edition came out, or today if you're a Patreon, and it kind of brings into question Sevens and Dungeon Bowl and Gutter Bowl. So we figured that the best person to drag on and talk this through would be one of the Gutter Bowl guys themselves. So Nick, should we start with talking about the new edition, then we'll reveal the teams a little bit later. So first things first, everything you've seen from the new edition, everything we talked through at Bonehead Bowl, what are your thoughts?
I am pumped. I mean, most of my teams are 3D printed, so and relatively new to the game, so like I don't have all the positionals that people are losing and feeling sort of sad about, which I totally get, totally fair.
Yeah.
I am loving all the changes. I love the idea of mixing it all up, and I'm super excited to just start new teams and see how they brew up with the devious skills and everything. So yeah, super excited.
Yeah, the devious skills are quite good fun. And when we talked about this on the podcast last week, we kind of said that we're going to do our very best not to rush to conclusions, not to jump to conclusions on stuff. And then, of course, we immediately jump to conclusions on stuff. And then as I've been going through the team guides, like every single team that I've hit up, I've been like, oh, I can see this. Oh, I can see the fun here. Like Black Orcs, I was like, yeah, nothing's changed. And then I went through the team guide and I was like, oh, the Troll's really good. The Goblins have got fun skills. Now you're causing casualties, which means your Black Orc's going to be leveling up a bit more. And they can secure the ball. I was like, oh, there's stuff here that from first glance you don't pick up on. And so far, I think I'm 10 or 12 team guides in. I have yet to find a team that I'm not like, oh, I see. I just did Humans. I don't think that's out by the time this is... I think it's coming out this week. But I was quite... about Humans. I was like, there's not really anything saucy there. And then I realized that they didn't lose 2 blitzers. They gained 2 movement, 8 blitzers because of that strength change, because those lads start with dodge. Like they're not, you don't just have 2 catchers now. You've got 2 blitzers that start with movement 8 and dodge. All that I need is block to start cooking. And I was like, oh, okay, there's some fun here.
For me, they're almost like, when I first read that, I was almost like, well, now you've kind of got nearly nobility blitzers that are faster. And I'm like, yeah, like you say, just give them block. And
that's exactly it. They're tight ends, to use the NFL things, where you've got a runner catcher, and that is basically exactly what they are. So even Humans that you kind of look at and go, I don't know, that sucks. I don't know. I think they're actually looking really fun. So, hey, that's really good. Is there any roster you've looked at so far? And by all means, if this ends up spoiling one or more of the teams that are going into the Gutter Bowl, please feel free. Is there any other rosters you've looked at and gone, oh, that looks fun?
Like you say with the Black Orcs, I'm looking at that going and thinking, that is awesome. I think actually before spoiling the other ones, looking at Humans, looking at nobility, like we had nobility last year with the in Gutter Bowl. I'm a bit sad that they haven't lost Loner on the big guy, and I'm like, all the sort of the Snotlings, the Black Orcs, the fact that and Goblins, you've lost Loner. I'm like, that makes them so much more fun. Like the idea of you don't have to worry as much with the big guys. and then worrying you're going to fail the loner reroll or anything like that. No, you can just do what you want to do and have fun with those teams, even if they're maybe suboptimal. I'm so pumped for those teams.
But they're loner 3+.
Yeah, it's still not too bad. I mean, I am one to throw a loner reroll most of the time and then get annoyed when it doesn't go through.
It's fun. And also they do have mutation access now on a double on a secondary skill. Apparently, this podcast is going to go out on the Sunday. So I mean, what do you reckon, Nick? Over under on a day one FAQ for a couple of these things?
I think they have to, don't they? I hope they do. I really do. My theory was those the copies they sent out. I think they purposely made them wrong, so they knew who did the spoilers, who did the leaks.
Yeah. Well, we were very
but
good.
Then when I realised that everybody's Chaos Renegade Ogre lost Mighty Blow, and I just thought, no,
but that is genuinely, like, if you look at the page, they've just run out of space. I swear that's what's happened. They were like, oh, we'll put that in later, or we'll cut that out so it fits and we won't have to do anything.
Yeah. But the mutation, I don't know how they missed that, because the Ogres don't have mutation on the Ogre team, do they?
No. So the Ogres, only the Ogres on the Ogre team are the only Ogres that can't get mutations. Every other Ogre gets mutation. And the Goblins on the Orc team, passing 3+. All the other Goblins passing 4+. I'm like, no, give me 3+ Goblin passing. Like, no problem. Give all the Goblins passing 3+. But instead, we've just got this weird Turbo Goblin roster.
Which is weird. I mean, I'm all for buffing Goblins, but then you don't really play Goblins to win. You just play to have fun. But there we go.
You play Goblins for the carnage, and I think some of the devious skills they've added I mean, it's still a slow brew and it's still a slog. But the fact that you've got no loner, you've got swoop is better. It's just a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
You can get behind them a bit more, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, the big deal here is that we've got multiple game modes in Blood Bowl that have been released by Games Workshop over the last few years and have been received brilliantly. And now the rules have changed. It leaves us in a little bit of limbo with a couple of them. So on the main channel, we absolutely positively love sevens. Binge sevens. You guys have done an outrageous job with GutterBowl, with the Greenbridge GutterBowl series as well. And I mean, we went through a couple of years there. Dungeon Bowl was a pretty fun shindig as well. With the new rules going in, we're getting lots of people saying, can you still play sevens? How do you play sevens? And the plan for the channel next year is to have a Bonehead Championship, to have a sevens concurrently, and to have the Gutter Bowl as well. So we want to have multiple of these variants playing straight away from January. And what's your initial thought on, like, is it going to be okay? Can you do it anyway? Are there going to be problems? What have you seen, Nick?
I haven't seen too much. I mean, I think most people are just sort of coming to the conclusion that you should just be able to play it with the new rules. I don't think there's too much you need to tweak. There's a couple of things I'll bring up, but like, I think because the 25 rules are so close to the 2020 edition, I think we're going to be okay on the main part. There are a couple of things that have come up, like the insignificant rule for Snotlings. I think I can't remember who else has got it, but that's a problem because that just doesn't work. You can't. In sevens, what is it, 4 positionals, you ended up with 4 Snotlings. It's just not going to work at all. Same with GutterBowl. So we're actually going to ignore that rule completely because it just doesn't work. I think
I'm going to just jump in on the insignificant thing. It says, when creating a team draft list, you may not include more players with this trait than players without this trait. So, that's primed for a good old ignoring, isn't it?
Yeah, you're stuck with 4 Snotlings in sevens and 5 Snotlings in GutterBowl, and you just end up with so much money left over you can't do anything. I can see why they put it in, because people are, I'm assuming, we're ignoring the Snotling positionals to get star players, right? And then because they weren't affected by low cost linemen.
So for the Snotling team, it's just the linemen that have significant, right? So you're right. So they'd be going 2 hoppers, 2 runners, 2 flingers, 2 trolls. That's 8 dudes, 3 Snotlings, and then star players and riotous rookies to make it work, which you get. It does make the Snotling roster quite interesting now. but
I think so.
only because you've got the pump wagons, so who don't have secret weapons. So you've now got 10 players you want to have on there.
Also, I think something I didn't realize until like yesterday, the pump wagons get movement 5.
Oh yeah, were they not movement 5 before? They were just trolls before, weren't they?
I think they were just trolls. I think that's gone up to 5.
Pump wagons are looking outrageously juicy. 100k, 5 strength, 5 movement, 5 plus edge. You're not dodging with them. Passing 6 plus, armor 9 plus. Dirty player, juggernaut, mighty blow. Really stupid and stand firm. So dirty player is going to be interesting, but there's a reason for this. They get devious and strength, so you can take pile driver. Is this a... No, it's not. So you can take pile driver and blitz in with this guy, take the hit, take mighty blow. Maybe it doesn't work out, maybe it does, and they stun. You can still then somehow prone your Snutling pump wagon and get the dirty player +1. So it's just like +1 break your armor. I'll place him prone, give it another go. It's absolutely murderous.
And then in GutterBowl you don't have a ref, so you can just get away with that constantly. I think the cat's out of the bag. We're definitely taking Snotlings.
Yeah, we had that chat at Bonehead Bowl, didn't we? You were like, I think we got to have Snotlings. We got to have Snotlings. I was like, yep, go for it, absolutely go for it.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll have goblins. You have Snotlings. Like, there you go. That's the 2 stunty teams popped out because goblins are looking super fun. Snotlings look egregious. Bryden, 11 minutes in. There you go. Looking for my tag there. Yeah, it's very cool. There's some really cool, and it's an interesting one because I feel like this whole edition has been brewed up to make as much as possible interesting without it being like nothing. Everything kind of feels like it's been a little bit nerfed, but everything's also been sourced up a little bit. So I like just Snotlings, right? They're going to be brutal. They're going to have some brutal turns, but the rest of the time they're still strength 1 and they've got armor 2.5. Like, so they're not going to be running away with it, but they're going to cost you. And I think that was what goblins always used to be great at in the old editions. It's like in a league, you play against goblins, you're going to win, but you're going to go into the next game a couple players down. And I think Snotlings are in that. So low cost linemen, they also have that in league play. When a team with this special rule calculates its current team value, treat the hiring fee of any lineman players on this team as 0 gold pieces. And Snotling still gets swarming, right? So during the start of the drive sequence, after both teams have set up their players, a team with this special rule can set up an additional D3 lineman players from their reserves box onto the pitch. Following rules as normal, blah, 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 blah.
That's the same as previous edition, isn't it?
Yeah.
But with sevens, did Snotlings lose that in sevens? I couldn't remember. But could they still swarm?
Do you know? I don't remember either.
It was Dungeon Bowl they lost it, for sure.
Yeah, which sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Although I think that would have been quite entertaining to just have them like D3 swarming players come in via teleporters because the ref isn't working. Like, I'm all for that. I think that would make a load of that,
or you get 2 jumping out of one portal at one time or something like that, or like 1 scatters and you've got 2.
At the start of the game, pick a Snotling, it then becomes D3 Snotlings as they're all in a trench coat. That would work. It would work quite nicely as well. Yeah, so you're right. So the biggest thing for all of these editions, like, is the roster building, and sevens has the 0 to 600 instead of a million build, and you can only take 4 positionals. Now in this edition, stuff is tagged as linemen, which I think makes the build a lot more straightforward in some cases. So I don't think it was a real big stopping point before, not like the whole Ivan Death Shroud when is a dwarf not a dwarf thing, which has also been resolved by this edition, which I do quite like. Like that element of the team build, not so much of a difficulty. How does that affect GutterBowl with the GutterBowl build rules?
So we kind of hinted this when we finished the last season, and we were thinking about we were going to do a new one even before the rules were announced. We wanted to do Renegades because, again, the story behind Renegades is always amazing. Everybody loves Renegades, even though they might be suboptimal. But in sevens, they don't work, or GutterBowl, because of the positional thing. They only have human linemen, and then they have a million positionals. I said, I think I posted in the Discord and I said, look, guys, is everyone okay if we just run the Orc, the Goblin, the Skaven, and the other one, that all as the Dark Elf as linemen and don't count them as positionals? And everybody was like, yeah, go, do what's fun. Now, I think in the actual 25 rules, they are classed as
human,
linemen, so...
Goblin, Orc, Skaven, Dark Elf, all linemen. The only non-big guy is the Thrower, who is a thrower. So even the Goblin is a lineman, and the Goblin is that's magic. That means your Renegade team now you're getting everything. Everything.
And the Thrower's better now, so I'd love to take him.
Is the Thrower better?
Yeah, he's
he's got sure hands. Animosity all pass 3+. All right, so they haven't done the human team super dirty by giving the Renegades guy plus 2+ as well.
The Renegades one was terrible before, so now they've actually made him okay.
Yeah, did he have?
But it's like I don't actually feel bad for taking him.
Was it the one where when he got smushed, he got to choose where the ball went?
Yeah.
Failed experiment, that one, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
No,
so
I like that.
What we're going to do is we'll class people with the lineman special rule, like keyword. We're going to class them as linemen, even though they were classed as a positional before.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The Halfling Hopeful in a human team is a lineman, so that means that human 7s can take 4 blitzers. No, it doesn't.
I'm assuming it would affect OWA as well, even though we're not bringing the Komori Yellow Jackets through. They would become even more powerful.
Okay, human linemen are linemen. Halfling Hopefuls, 0 to 5 of them in the OWA team this time. Linemen. That could be really interesting for 7s and for GutterBowl. Is GutterBowl 750 or 700?
750, yeah.
750 and 5 positionals. Yeah. So you can fudge some cost saving there by filling those guys in, and the dwarf linemen 0 to 3 are also linemen.
That is doubly egregious. There you go, Brian.
Yeah. The goblins on an orc team are also linemen. I think is that all the fun stuff that's happened when it comes to the Goblin lineman, the Skaven lineman, and the Snotling lineman are all linemen for the Underworld team. And Underworld keeps getting upside. That is just filthy. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
I will have to bring back the Gutter Green Rovers next time, I reckon.
That is just dubious. Okay, thoroughly enjoy that. So that makes... I think that's kind of the change. The only thing I would flag, and I want your steer on this, is 7s and GutterBowl had some alternative inducement rules, didn't they? So 7s had desperate measures, and everything had a slightly wonky cost. What's the impact there for GutterBowl?
So with GutterBowl, we've got the snack, we've got the snack stand, we've got the bad apothecary, which when you roll a 1, you actually kill the person you're using it on rather than doing anything good. I don't think anything changes there, which is good, but I don't know if they get that much more. Oh, the potions. It's not going to affect anything with them. They're just fun. They're the ones you actually go for. So yeah, I think we're all golden on that front. The only thing I wanted to do is, instead of having journeyman, story-wise, I was thinking of using like custom mercenaries created by patrons or something like that.
That's a really cool idea.
From a story-wise, because they, you can just give them either rubbish stats or skills or whatever, because it is, they've come from the pub or something like that. But that was the only thing we wanted to add on top, but that's completely outside of this edition or the previous one. So yeah.
I wonder if, so, the idea is that going into next year, we have GutterBowl, we have the Championship, we have a 7 Super Series, and the teams can get promoted and demoted throughout the year, and new teams get brought in, etc. So we can roll players around, and me and Nick can post things to each other. There's an element there, though, of talking about 7s is the desperate measures. We've been chatting about whether we really want them in this edition, because they were very powerful to the point where, like, you're going into a new edition, if you're playing an edition you already know, so Sevens was updated by GW, what, 3 years into Blood Bowl 2020? Well, no, it wasn't. A year and a half into 2020. So you're playing through it, and you're adding something silly to a rule set that you already know. I think starting out with Sevens, it's a rule set you don't really know because the teams are doing it. I'm kind of inclined to do one thing that's house ruley for Sevens, which is keep the roster building totally the same, right? You've got linemen, rerolls are doubled, no fun for anyone, but have the inducements just be bog standard inducements from the rulebook, at least for the first series for Sevens, just so we can work through the inducements that are in the 11s game as well and don't have the desperate measures. Because I would hope that if Sevens gets redone by GW, desperate measures would be smoothed out a little bit, and that the banana skin was just like, it just warps the whole game, and then you kind of have a Sevens game that there's not really, you're not playing Sevens, you're playing Trips is going to slap me in the face with a banana.
You're playing psychological warfare if you're playing with Trips, or whether he's going to use it or not.
Yeah, I know. That was fun. I think we live streamed that one, and chat was like, no, I get it. And I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's a masochist. Okay, yeah, fine. I get it. Yeah, so I mean, I know you've played a bunch of Sevens as well. What would you think about that? About us not using the desperate measures and just using inducements out of the book for 11s for the first time around?
I think that makes perfect sense. I think just they do warp it because you could either roll really lucky, and the other one, not just the banana skin, it's the perfect throw one.
Yeah,
which,
yeah, the razzle dazzle thing.
Yeah, it almost feels. It was awesome because did Trips use it with Nurgle? And that was
I
just like
I think so. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
Everybody forgot about it and then suddenly pulled it out of the bag. But it's like, do you balance that's a really cool thing, or is that just too overpowered? Well, I don't know. It's difficult. I think I'm agreeing with what the way you want to approach it.
I think the reason for that is because where we kind of going to try and link the leagues, I want it to be more about the players. And when you're playing a Sevens, like even in a tournament and you've got the desperate measures, it's about the game as a whole, but we want to tell the story of the players, because that's this edition. I don't know, tell me if you think differently, Nick, but this feels like the league edition more than anything. And I want to brew up that hatred, and I want the hatred of a player that got injured by a different player in a different league at a different time to come through and be like the thing that matters in that game, rather than the fact that Trips rolled a 1 and got, a magic power.
I mean, I am so excited to see that like brew up and seeing all the hatred. My concern is, how are we going to track that? Like, as in, remember it on all the models? I mean, it's harder for you guys when you're doing 11s, but I'm so for it. But it's just making sure we remember, and then having all the crowd go, you forgot hatred on that roll.
Yeah, right. Okay, hatred, page 129. When does it go away?
I thought it was at the end. There's a chance for it to go away at the end of the season.
So
I could be wrong.
Probably redrafting then. Because I loved that. When I saw that, I was like, this is for the story.
Especially if it's like they've broken their arm or whatever, they've lost a stat, but you've kept them on, and then they've gained hatred because of that, and then that's the story of why he's injured because of it was Grot Brady being an absolute superstar.
Love Grot Brady. Let me see if I can find the rules here for hatred. No, it's probably in the injury section. And this is the really cool thing about a brand new edition, is that there's going to be something written down on some page that you've not really paid attention to that becomes really important in one little edge case, which is what we keep finding, because we keep going like, oh, it's this, and
the issue with the new book, though, is because most of it, you're going to skim. People are going to skim read because they're like, oh, I know this. Nothing's changed here.
That is exactly what I've done. And I've read the book through like twice, and I'm super aware that, especially with people that keep popping up and they're like, oh, Brawler works on a Blitz now. And I'm like, I don't, it doesn't, because there's this other page, which is quite fun. Oh god!
I mean, that's when I was getting way too excited about Blackhawks, thinking, oh, now you can do it on a Blitz. I'm thinking, oh my god, yes.
Oh, I know, that would have been, that would have been really cool. I would have been super okay with that. I mean, it's not that bad. I think it would have been fine.
I think it would have been fine, considering it's 10k cheaper now. I think it.
Making
I can
Brawler
see that.
work on a blitz would have been
Mm.
one of those things where it's like, okay, now I'm totally okay taking Brawler. Okay, is it in? I can't find it now. Can't find it. Getting
Is
even.
there not
Getting
a
because it's not called hatred, it's called getting even. There we go. Revenge is
not an
commonplace in the world of Blood Bowl. Those players that end up getting injured are quite likely to hold a grudge. Blah 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 blah. In league play, whenever a player suffers a casualty that results in seriously whatever, and are forced to miss the next game, roll a dice. On a 4+, this player gains the hatred rule, and no, just gains hatred.
It must be in the recovery section.
Yeah.
At the end,
Like,
when you recover injuries and niggling injuries and stuff like that, isn't it?
well, we might have to just
Or keep it.
blank that one exactly, and just ignore that. Rest and relaxation, I reckon that's what it is. Any players that have the hatred trait may find their rage subsiding during the off-season. Each player that has hatred loses it on a 4+.
There you go.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think that'll make it manageable. I think.
Yes.
We're still gonna get a lot.
Having hatred forever is well, maybe on humans. I can see that being appropriate in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
And that works. All right, wicked. So that's the rosters bit. The second bit is the way that the pitches revolve around. So sevens, the pitch, right? You've got the no man's land. No man's land just works the way it always did. But when it comes to Dungeon Bowl and Gutter the Bowl, you've got terrain. You've got bouncing balls off walls, I think is the thing. Have you had any thoughts on if that's going to be a problem or anything like that?
No, I can't see. The only thing that's come up in my head is punt.
Oh God,
Thinking
yeah.
how that would work. Does that? I'm assuming. I'm gonna guess we're gonna treat it as if you've thrown the ball at the wall, sort of thing, because I think that's how punt works.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of that could be a problem. And this time around for season 2, we're going to be using the suicide, so we're going underneath Green Bridge instead of being up in the streets this time.
Amazing.
So we've got a few less walls to worry about, but that does mean there's going to be a lot of sewer pitches,
Yeah, the sewer shenanigans in the middle.
I feel like there's going to be a lot more casualties because of it, but I can't wait.
Oh yeah, when we played that was it. It turned into very much a game like it was gladiators. It was like, how do I push you?
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's a great extra different angle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a very much a surfer type player, working out trying to surf how you surf people off. But at least the snots have got sidestep. That's one thing, but they're still going to die when they hit the floor.
Oh my God, Dungeon Bowl just looks even more exciting now in this edition. Oh, I need to come away from this picture. Like,
we'll have to film a one-off or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I do want to go back to it. The thing I've got though is, do you reckon? My question for you is, do you reckon the colleges they have now?
Oh,
do you think they still work?
No,
with the current changes.
I think that's a really valid and sensible question. It's interesting looking at the Dungeon Bowl box where they had a sprue of this, a sprue of this, and a sprue of this, and a sprue of this. That works awesomely because it's literally just half and half of a team now, right? So if they redid the colleges with that mindset of, you can pick one sprue of these 3 teams, like, so you can have Dark Elves, Skaven, Goblins, pick 2, or Christ, put all 3 together and just mix the teams up, because we've got 30 teams in Blood Bowl now, and there's 8 colleges, so we're looking at kind of 3.5 teams per college. So there is a really easy way of them to kind of just divvying it up so that there's 3 teams at every college, and then you just chuck humans and goblins and whatever everywhere else to kind of fill it in. But the way it was done previously with like these players here, these players here, these players here, I think it got unmanageable very, very, very quickly. And I mean, we've just done Bonehead Bowl, right? When it comes to mixed teams, quite frankly, I think if you just said, look, here's the 8 teams that the College of Fire work with, pick 2, and you can have up, half the positionals for each. rounded
Yeah.
up or whatever, I think is probably a better way of doing it. Or you do what we did when we did the Dungeon Bowl tournament, which was run a college team or run a normal team, but choose your allegiance, choose your college wizard allegiance. It depends on how they want to go, if they even bring it back. But looking at it, like half a Dark Elf team, half a Skaven team, that is immediately a really fun team. So it would be really cool for them to bring back Dungeon Bowl and say, here's a list of teams you can do. Grab a sprue of each, or just double box it, for God's sake. It doesn't really matter, and be like, look, you know, and then you can choose your own sort of team. So having like, oh yeah, I'm going to go Goblins, Dark Elves, because those are two of the teams that the College of Shadows works with. So if I want the Fire Mage, I have to go, right, Orcs, Dwarves, you know, Khorne. Okay, I can work with one of those. And I can see that from a simplicity point of view is much better than being like, you've got 30 options on this team because this player is a little bit beasty, like a little bit beasty, so therefore he's beasts. And you're like, that's everyone.
But then, yeah, exactly. And then they go, but then this fox is going to be in shadow because he's not a beast. And it kind of started to fall apart at the seams. It felt like as they added new teams, it kind of stopped working.
It did
But I
stop
think
working, yeah.
if they're going down the route of making it easier to onboard new players or anything like that, I mean, even older players onboarding onto Dungeon Bowl can be quite hard. But if they just go, take a sprue, take another sprue, and box it up like they did for Deathmatch, it makes perfect sense. I think I think it's a really good way to go down that route with that, and I probably am on board with that. I wouldn't mind if they added more colleges to support that and like have more different combos.
Like, come on,
I think that would really work.
add some chaos colleges. Like, why the heck not? Like, do it, and then you've just got more access to more mixtures of teams potentially. Like, I think,
I do hope they revisit it and do something cool with it.
I just wonder if it didn't get the reception they were hoping for.
I spoke to Jay at Warhammer World about this when we did the very first Dungeon Bowl. They did the first Dungeon Bowl tournament at Warhammer World, and Jay was there walking around with everyone and talking, and they had the beautiful mats. He was saying they were, the stakeholders were basically happy with Dungeon Bowl and how well it sold. They were surprised that Deathmatch sold out. The numbers were still low because I don't think they printed very much of it.
Yeah.
So it's a weird one. It just feels like it just wasn't given the love. But yeah,
it was because they didn't do a second Deathmatch. It's funny. I think that's the reason it feels like Dungeon Bowl died, is because we were like, oh, every year they're going to drop a death match. Okay, that's cool. I mean, it's teams I've already got, but maybe it's teams I don't have, or, you know, you can go halves on, and there's some extra tiles and some extra gameplay. And then it dropped, and then there was no other one, and it was like, but I think that is because it became unsustainable because of the complexities of the rosters at that point. Which is why I think if they go back to it, I mean, even the 95 version of Dungeon Bowl was basically like, pick a team, that's your primary team, pick a second team, that you can have 6 of those guys, and pick a third team, you can have 1 of those guys. Like, that becomes, even back then, like, that was kind of like, okay, this is reasonably manageable. But yeah, that's what I want to see, because I do love Dungeon Bowl, but I think that cross-pollination, it just, because the Dungeon Bowl teams were just Dungeon Bowl teams. GutterBowl, right? You take a 7s team, you add a couple of players, you play GutterBowl. You take an 11s team, you put a bunch of them on the shelf, you play GutterBowl or 7s. Like, it's the throughput of the teams. I think they would bring out Dungeon Bowl, have it work with standard league teams, use that as the launching point for mixed teams, and then have one line that says, you can totally use mixed teams in an 11s games. Go for it. Like, boom.
I was going to say the dream. That's the absolute dream.
Yeah.
Just every time we finish Bonehead Bowl, I'm just like, come on, let's just support mixed teams somehow.
One day, but they'll do it in a slightly different way that doesn't quite work. Right, talking about teams and the dream, Nick, I think it's time for us to talk through what we're doing in in 2026. So Nick and Prim were awesome and filmed an entire series of GutterBowl games, and they landed brilliantly on the channel. Everyone loved it, and it was really cool to see. So what we're going to try and do this year is have another series of that, and also have a series of the Bonehead Championship, and then also, although this depends on how much filming we can get done, this is why we haven't locked in the sevens teams yet, have a sevens tournament going on at the same time, or sevens league going on at the same time, with the view that after the season, which will be a 15 to 17 week block of time, we'll move some teams around. Some teams will get promoted, some teams will get demoted, and actually the players that you got used to on those teams will get passed around, and some new teams will come in, some old teams will get retired, and that's just the dream, right, Nick?
Oh, absolutely. The idea of, when the Komori Yellow Jackets won, and they just the roster looked amazing, and I'm like, oh, if they go up to 11s, and the plan was originally, before we even found out, or even I don't know if you found out earlier than we did, but when 25 was announced, we were messaging saying, oh, I'll bring up my Yellow Jackets,
Yeah,
and then
we'll swap you for the Nurgle. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The thought of seeing them progress even more, I was so excited for. But no, now I'm just totally ready for a complete refresh. But then seeing those teams grow with the new rules, I'm so for it. I want to see what happens with the goblins with all those devious skills. Get that bullseye, what the flying.
Yeah, bullseye, lethal flight. What a combination!
Yeah.
Blat.
Cannot wait.
I love that, and it's yeah, just bouncing the goblin around as ammunition. That has to be a skill that we take on for goblins. So right, dude, would you like to reveal the teams that, that we've not already talked about that are going to the GutterBowl for the first season next year?
We are taking the snots. We haven't got names yet, but we've taken the snots. Brand new. We're going to be using the Brute Fun team.
Oh, lovely team.
Oh yes. Prim is building the Bretts, so he's got a third-party one. I can't remember if they're
Banner.
I think so. Yeah, the relatively new.
Yeah.
And they've just announced an expansion pack for the extra knights, because I think it was originally nobility. So it's painting those up right now. They're looking awesome. I'm going to be taking the Dark Elves. So again, the Brute Fun ones I brought to Beachhead.
Yes.
So they're ready to go. I just need to paint up an assassin, because luckily I did have a run.
You will need an assassin, yeah.
Definitely going to need the assassin. I'm a bit worried that now we're on the sewer pitch, punt's going to be less useful as I kick it into the water. It's not a turnover.
Yeah, I don't know. Not sold on the Dark Elf runner is an interesting position of that. It needs to prove itself to me.
So, hear this one out. Running him down the sideline where there is no side of the pitch, and so you're punting it down, and even if you hit the ball, it's just going to bounce back in.
Yeah, but it might go into the pool.
It might go into the pool, but if it's not a turnover, the pool could give you a favourable bounce still, like right on the other side of the pool. So I'm going to be punting a lot. I'm going to put it that way.
I'm going to check. Because there may be a rules interaction there.
Well, this is where I'll probably need to reread how the sewer pits work.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Punt special action resolved is not a turnover unless ends up in an opposition player's control or in the crowd. There's no crowd. There's no crowd.
The crowd's at the end, so as long as you're not punting too far past the end zone, you can hit the walls. And so yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. I think that's where everybody's going to go, oh, punt's amazing, and then try it and realize it's good in 11s, but there we go. So yeah, we've got Dark Elves and then Necro. So I've not seen them in a while. Last time we saw them on the channel was way back first.
I think Bonehead Championship 1, yeah.
Yeah. So with the Frenzy as well, with the pits, with all of their updates, they've got a lot of buffs. It'll be nice to see how they work, and eye gouge. So we'll be gouging everyone.
Yeah, cheeky bit of stand firm is going to be really useful when you've got restricted lines of travel potentially. If you can take a golem.
Yep, exactly. So we'll probably take one of everything essentially.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be favourites. Nurgle again, all the changes.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got stand firm on the bloaters, which is wicked. You've got, if you can run the rot spawn, That cheeky bit of pick-me-up could be really big in a smaller format game, right? Obviously,
Massive. Yeah.
there's less chance, but we know from playing sevens and GutterBowl that the one of something happening in GutterBowl or sevens makes a big difference. So you spike that 5+ at the end of your opponent's turn, and your guy just gets back up again. You don't need a blitz. You don't need. It's just it could be really, really, really cool. I like that a lot.
Yep. I mean, I'm concerned with how slow they are, but you got to have one at least a slow team, I guess. But yeah, I'm proper excited about them. Then the final one is Renegades, because
The
who
new
doesn't love
lineman
Renegades?
team, yeah.
And the new lineman team, exactly. And big guys in GutterBowl. What's not to like? So yeah, we'll I think we're fleshing out 3 big guys,
Yeah.
all the linemen. Basically, I think we'll have 1 human lineman at the end, because everything else will be all the positionals.
Yeah, Dark Elf is a little bit more expensive than a human lineman, and you can take 3 big guys-ish in a sevens team. So having an extra 150k, you can flesh out. That's wicked. And it sets them up really nicely to win and come up to the 11s category, which I think would be very, very, very cool.
Yes.
I love that list. I think that's a wicked list. And what we're going to try and do is limit duplications in the leagues wherever possible. Bretonia absolutely positively gets a pass because it's the first time this team's existed, so everybody wants to run it because it's very exciting. So in the championship, we will be having the Bretonians, the Tomb Kings, because they're brand new teams. Why would you not? Now, we're also bringing Amazons and Vampires, because I think both of those rosters are potentially very, very tantalizing in this edition. We've got Khorne, we've got Black Orcs for your muscle, we've got Skaven for your dash, and we've got Goblins for the shenanigans. And I am very, do you know, we properly brewed up. We were like, oh, but we want this, but we want this. We have potentially got one more bash team in there than we would potentially want, but I wanted Khorne as a chaos team, and I wanted Vampires because I think there's some cool stuff you can do there. I wanted Amazons because I think that's going to be some filth in this edition. Bretonians, Team Kings, you've got to have them. Skaven, obviously got to have them because there's a new roster. And, you know, Khorne, got to have some chaos. And Black Orcs, Black Orcs removed Wood Elves. And I know there's probably going to be loads of you out there that are like, oh, Wood Elves would have given it a better overall. The Black Orc team are almost the champion team for everything we do, like the Black Mountain Buccaneers with Grot Brady and all the just filth. I just think that roster's got juiced up, and I want to bring them back. They've got a load of character. I'm so close to bringing back the Minotaurs as well, but they will be in a sevens. So yeah, we will see the Marienburg Minotaurs again, but not in the championship.
Oh, I think that's another cracking list. Also, because for us, we're going to be zeroing everyone. I'm assuming you're going to do the same with all of yours.
Yeah.
Are we still having Grot Brady though?
Oh god,
that's what the crowd want to know.
Oh god, yeah. I think this is another example of, like, in world, the rules have changed. You see this in the NFL a lot. They change the way people have to tackle each other and catch things, and then everyone kind of starts with a refresh. So I think that's basically the in-world reason for why these players are all getting reset. Or this is just an alternate reality.
There we go.
Job done. Wizards did it.
Wizards, every time. I was going to say the reason why we didn't take Tomb Kings, because we were thinking about Tomb Kings, was I think we still wanted to keep the 6-team roster.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes again, and we might drop up to 8 next time. We'll just see how we get on. But Tomb Kings kind of have been around before. You guys are running Tomb Kings, and we don't want to duplicate too much. But like you say, because Brett's are brand new, so if anyone was thinking why we didn't take Tomb Kings, that was why.
Yeah, I really do like getting Brett's out and about. It's a great way to double drop them. They're a fun roster. They're involved. They can do stuff, and I think for that it works out really well. So yeah, we're going for 8 teams. So there will be 3 rounds, and then semi-final, and a live final that we will do at the end of the season here. You are going for 6 teams. Are you doing 3 rounds as well, or are you buffing it to 4?
I reckon we'll buff it to 4. So we did 4 last time. We were going to go 5, but we dropped 1 short just because of the rules.
Because the edition changed.
Things up. That worked so well. So we'll do that again. We might do like what you guys are planning on doing the double MVP, just to see skill, just have fun. and see how we get on and see the growth. We'll still do that. But yeah, four rounds, then we'll go semi-finals, which we skipped last time, and then we'll do finals, because that's what you're doing, isn't it?
Yep, that's perfect. That
Yeah.
means that we'll be exactly in lockstep for those weeks, which is very, very, very cool. If we do sevens, whether we do 1 7 series or whether we do 2 7 series, they'll be a little bit shorter, so that will fit in around. But yeah, double MVP is a cracking one. The rulebook now says pick 6, roll a d6. We are going to, do you know, I'll be really honest, I haven't decided if we want to do pick 6, roll 6, or just stick with the pick 3, roll 3 by coach's choice. So I think we might do a pick 3, D3 coach's choice MVP, and then a whole team random MVP as well. Just like you said, to like add a bit of, get that SPP on a random player to show a random lineman and what you can do with those, but also kind of give those 3 games of focus of being like, no, the coach wants to see these 3 players develop rather than the D6.
The only other thing I would think about is you have coach's choice, pick 1, as in literally just pick 1.
Oh, okay.
And then do the D6 pick, the coach D6 pick, and then random the D6 and do it that way. That way you're keeping to the rule book, and also you're
just
really
specialing it up a bit.
Yeah, just so we see like the new skills and what we want to do, see the combos we want to see. If it doesn't work, we can change it next time. But that's what I was tempted to do.
Okay, you sold me, Nick. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that an awful lot. But I would potentially say that the coach's pick can't be included in the D6.
Yes,
so
you don't get double.
You can't double drop immediately.
Yeah. I might be tempted to do D3 for us just because we have smaller rosters.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking, especially like with sevens as well, because D6 is if you're rolling a pick 6, roll D6, and then one for the random team, you're literally just rolling a D6 and then maybe a D8.
But that makes sense with all the kickoff table, because everything goes from D6 to D3 anyway. So
yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
I like that. That's what we'll do for 11s. Then we'll pick 1 and rolls, pick 1 and a random 6, and then for 7s we'll do pick 1 and D3, which it sounds like you guys will do as well. Yeah. Fantastic. That doesn't quite wrap it up. So the Viewer Championship is going to be back. We will put out full details on this, but because what we want to do is have a Viewer Championship for all 3, we're going to do what we did last time, which is at the end of an episode have the next week is this team versus this team. Get your guesses in below so that we can kind of track it like that. But what we're going to do is in each of the leagues, the top winners will win some bits and pieces, but everybody who gets points throughout all 3 seasons, so whether we go with if you nail it you get 5, if you get the right outcome you get 3, and then +1 for each score, probably the way we'll go, but every one of those points you will earn, and at the end of the seasons we will do a big Bonehead raffle after all the seasons have finished up. So everybody who gets the points from their guesses right for all 3 series will just be thrown into the pot. We'll do a live pod during the off weeks between the 2 series, between the seasons, and we will give away a load of bits and pieces, which I think will be really fun. We'll get some ball tokens, we'll get some mugs, we'll get some teams, we'll get some pitches, we'll have a really good time, and we'll have a big old draft away for that, so it kind of makes it worthwhile. Because something Nick did say was like, it'd be really good if someone could just join halfway through the league and it's too late for them to win, but
still have a chance.
We're like, do you know what, points win prizes, like you get put into the big raffle, and then we can have a good prize giveaway during one of the off weeks, which I think would be a really cool way of doing it. I think that's a really cool way. And then, gosh, you know what Blood Bowl's like. Given that the way we want the series to end, it will be the sort of middle of April time. We don't know if we may even have another new team from Games Workshop by that point, because that is 6 months. Another team from Games Workshop, come along.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be high elves. I don't care.
I was going to say high elves or new. What do you reckon?
Oh, it's tough because like there's this theoretical pattern of new versus Teams of Legend. The box set they've just dropped is both a new and a Teams of Legend. So we're kind of, what was before that was Chorf. So if there is a pattern, I would potentially say something new. Also, I think when it comes to the High Elf team, High Elf roster was pretty well performing. We don't know what the roster's going to be yet because it's not out. So my guess is that the roster will land very, very, very close to how it has always been. And because it's not a problem, I could see them being like, well, look, High Elves are fine for now. Like, let's bring something new in, and then we'll get to High Elves eventually. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm thinking if it's High Elves, it's going to be a lot sooner. So, like you say, April or a couple of months after. If it's something new, I reckon we're going to have to wait just under a year to get it. I reckon we'll get it September, maybe something like that. They'll push it longer, I reckon, just because new edition people will be sated enough.
That's true.
That point.
That's true. We've got 2 new teams to play with.
Yeah.
In Blood Bowl world, that's 2 years worth of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, we've got 30 rosters to work our way through. And then at some point, the NAF will realise there's a new edition and potentially update Slan. So there's always going to be those guys kicking around who would have been a really good punt to put in any of the leagues, but the new edition just takes Slan further away from being a real team. And I love it. It's a super fun team, but every new edition puts them further and further away, I think.
I thought they were going to be a fantastic team for GutterBowl with the 2+ leaping. Oh, because you can get caught in a common and then you just leap. I thought they would have been. We were going to do them. We were going to do them. They were on the list, but I had to drop them.
Yeah. It's fun. I'd love to be able to have every team in Blood Bowl live in a series all of the year round. But quite frankly, there's just too many teams in Blood Bowl. Mathematically, I figured out a way to make it happen. But just being able to film that many games is I think, always going to be an interesting challenge. So there's going to be some teams that sit out. And luckily, not having to include Slan right now kind of helps out with that. There's one less team you don't really have in there. But High Elves, Teams of Legend, we've always kind of benched because we're like, they're going to change, so let's just put a team in that isn't going to change, and then at some point, Teams of Legend, maybe it will change, maybe it won't change. Tomb Kings changed. They got Brawler, that's a change. But no, I'm super excited, and I'm very appreciative of you guys recording that and sharing it on the channel. It's so cool, and I know it goes down really well. And
I was going to say I wanted to give a massive shout out to everybody at Bonehead Bowl that came up to me. I mean, either it was your first time there or like I hadn't met before. Everyone took me by surprise because I almost forgot I was there to play Bonehead Bowl. And then people were coming up to me as I was like walking to the toilets going, "Oh, mate, really appreciate it." That was awesome. I really, really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone just for like even the comments and stuff like that. It was just awesome. It was so awesome.
Yeah, it is something very special. Sharing Blood Bowl with the community is just the best way to play Blood Bowl. So I'm glad we've got you hooked as well now, dude. But buddy, we have run out of time. So a massive thank you for you jumping on and co-hosting the pod today. I appreciate that very much. Any more, or should we wrap up for the day?
No, all good with me.
All right, now to go prep the teams and start recording. I think we're going to do some player naming stuff for the supporters and the Patreons, so look out for that over the next couple of weeks as we go into recording territory, because there's a couple teams that we need some players for. So this is going to be our shout out for you guys to be watching the channels and getting ready with some very, very clever naming ideas. Your own name is perfectly acceptable. That's totally fine. It may not get picked, but it's worth the fun. Right, wicked. Nick, thank you so much, man, for jumping on. Appreciate it. And everybody else, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.